Welcome to my busy miniaturist life, and today I'm in the garage and I am working on the Tudor building of the house, and also I'm working on the occupants of the house. But first of all, I'd like to show you how I'm going with the base. So this is the floor level and it's sitting on a base, and this is the front panel holder, and that is the division between the kitchen and the main hall. And I did change it. I changed the kitchen and made it an inch bigger because I felt it wasn't big enough initially, and the hall was quite a big hall anyway, so I think it'll be okay. There are fireplaces here and here, and on the back I'm going to put a framework under each floor like I did with the Beacon Hill house, because I think it holds it all together nice and square. The frightening thing is that I made a chimney. Now this will give you an idea of how high this building is going to be, because this is the chimney. And can you get that all in, Roger? And then this is what it looks like on the other side, and it's actually mimicking where the floors are. And then right at the top, of course, you've got the attic, which doesn't have a fireplace, and then it'll go up past the roof line, but it will sit like that. And it will have some wiring in it. So it won't be the first thing I put in place, it'll probably be the third thing I put in place. So the next thing I'm doing, it's quite scary, isn't it, to see how high this is going to be. Anyway, the next thing I'm going to be doing is the flooring, and I'm going to do flagstones, and I'm going to make them out of paper clay. But while I'm doing all this, I'm also working on the people that are going to be living in this house, and I was thinking about Thomas Hollyoak, who's going to be the owner. Now, I drew a little picture of the size of Thomas. He's about 5'6", not very tall. Elizabethans and Tudor people weren't very tall. They were lucky if they got to 40. 40 was considered to be quite old, and Thomas is about 35. So he's getting on. But that was his shape and size that I was working on. But when I actually came to do him, in reality, he had different ideas, and he decided he wanted to be portly. So he ended up being a bit portly. But he's a merchant, and if he's chubby, he's obviously got good food, and so he's a successful merchant. He hasn't got any arms at the moment because I wanted him to be a static figure who could stand on his own, because I basically wanted him to be able to stand around the house while I was working on it, so I got a good idea of the scale. And his arms are going to be movable arms, and they're going to be on an elastic cord. So his arms can move. I couldn't be totally static. I needed to have some movement there. So his arms will move. This hand will be holding a glove. And he's got his brays on, and he only just fitted those brays, I have to tell you. And I've painted his stockings on this time, but I've made him some shoes. So he's ready to go once I've got his arms working. And then I will clothe him. Now, merchants had a kind of a dress underneath a surcoat. This is his dress, and I have to sew his arms into the sleeves, I think, regardless of how I do them. So he'll be sewn into his sleeves, and that'll come over, and it'll be fastened on the front. And so it wasn't totally stiff. I've put it through the pleater and pleated it a little bit to make it look like it's got folds. So that'll be his underdress, and then he'll have an overcoat over it. I can't decide whether to make it that or that. Jury's out at the moment, an old tie, note, and it's quite nice. So it might be that, or it might be that. We'll see. So that's Thomas. And then the next thing I will be doing tomorrow, I'm setting myself up here to be able to do the pavements for the paper clay for the flagstones. And so what I'll do is I'll fix these across the board, And then I'll use that with my roller. Well, when I'm rolling it, I'll be only able to do it like that. So the flagstones are going to be that thick. And that'll keep them all the same thickness when I get going. That's theory. Let's hope it works out like that. So that's the plan for tomorrow morning. I'm going to be doing some rolling out of paper clay. And there's a technique involved in using paper clay, and those of you who have done work on that, you'll know what the benefits and the drawbacks are, but we'll just explore it along as we go and see how it works. So I shall see you tomorrow.